Part 2, using motivational interviewing techniques to elicit change talk. As we continue to look at the challenges here, the next phase would look at developing discrepancies. So here the challenge is to first intensify and then resolve ambivalence by developing discrepancy between the actual present and the desired future. This supports self-efficacy. Again, it enhances the client's confidence in his or her ability to change. It allows you to express your belief and confirmation that the client can change. And your clients are more likely to change behavior if they believe they can. Your clients are more likely to change behavior if you can believe they can. So these are very important points. This is also a time of expressing empathy, where reflective listening is important. It's key to expressing empathy. It allows you to reflect the client's statements back to them in a reframed, non-judgmental way with an attitude of acceptance. For example, I hear you. I understand your situation. Acceptance does not imply agreement or approval. Rather, you understand the client's perspective. You accept and understand the situation without endorsing behavior. And the most effective when used as directive reframing. So a constant process of expressing that empathetic approach. We look at this process as abbreviated O.A.R.S, which stands for O, open-ended questions versus closed-ended, which gives us more opportunity to get that information and conversation going. A for affirmations, which are positive, focused on strengths and efforts. R for reflective listening, which we listen carefully and use silence as a form of listening, where we may hear some information through body language. And then S for summarizing, which is an appropriate application to use sparingly, but helps us to rephrase for the client what we're hearing. Nonverbal communication is key, often more powerful than words. It conveys empathy, positive regard, and genuineness. It tells what words do not. It gives clues about the disability. And changing body language sometimes changes feelings. What about active listening? The Chinese characters that make up the verb to listen are noted here, that confirm the ear, the eyes, the undivided, and the heart. Open-ended versus closed-ended answers and questions. Open-ended do not have short, simple answers, and they provide an opportunity for us to sometimes allow someone to elaborate further. Examples of open-ended questions are, what are your thoughts about going to work? What are the benefits? What are the negatives? What supports have helped you in the past? What supports might you need for this job? Who would you share this information with? Affirming statements are important. Directly affirming a client can help build rapport and increase confidence. Notice signs of the client's strengths and efforts and reflect them back to the client. That seems like a good match for your skills and interests. I appreciate you took the big step of coming here. You're clearly a resourceful person to cope with the difficulties you've had for so long. Reflections are yet another technique. Simple reflections are essentially a repetition or slight rewording of what the client has said. Complex reflections, however, are moving beyond what the client said through paraphrasing meaning, continuing the paragraph, or otherwise reflecting content or meaning. And summary reflections allow us to bring together two or more client statements into a summary, including material not voiced by the client immediately before. Summarizing again should be used sparingly. It allows us to collect several points and relay them back to the client in a summary fashion, and it demonstrates our attention and moves the conversation forward. So in motivational interviewing, eliciting change talk is the primary method for developing discrepancy. Hearing oneself state the reason for change tends to increase awareness of the discrepancy between one's goals and present actions. The greater the discrepancy, the greater the perceived importance for change. Some methods for evoking change talk include asking evocative questions, using scaling questions, elaborating, using extremes, looking back, looking forward, and exploring goals and values. Responses to change talk fall in a continuum between directive and non-directive. By definition, motivational interviewing is directive. Yet, depending on the situation, there are different degrees of directive responses that you may use with your client. When a desired outcome is specifically intended, like quit smoking, stop drinking, discontinue abusive behavior, your response to change talk is directed towards that outcome. When the outcome is not specific, someone is trying to choose between two alternate courses of action, your response to change talk is less directive and more exploratory. So some key points to remember: ask permission, talk less than your client, try not to fix the challenges, be an active listener, be accepting, promote hope and possibility, and control and choice people are more motivated to make change when it's based on their own decisions and choices. These materials were adapted from several resources, including Motivational Interviewing online instruction from the Maryland Workforce Promise Project, the Motivational Interviewing Network of Trainers, Advanced Counseling Techniques from Linda Hendenblad, Berg Smith Training and Consultation, and from Miller and Rolnick, 2002, Motivational Interviewing, Preparing People for Change, 2nd edition, New York, Guilford Press. We also thank Christine Johnson, MA-CRC, for her invaluable expertise in sharing the points addressed in this presentation on the topic of motivational interviewing.